to change, you filthy animal.
Yippee-ki-yay!
You Virginia don't fare, dear.
Shaken, not stirred.
You talking to me?
You're a wizard, Harry.
I volunteer as tribute.
Sometimes I doubt your commitment to sparkle motion.
Deirdre Chambers. What a coincidence.
That's so fat.
How rude.
Wakanda forever!
Welcome back, my darlings, to Not My Genre, the Fire Teller Film Review. It's Excuse me? I'm in the middle of my spiel and you ruined it.
The Fire Teller Film Review.
Why did you lie?
Keep
You
going.
lie. Oh. Listen, it's episode.
I can't even reach that high.
Yeah, are you going to get in the corner and stop frothing out the mouth?
Jesus. We're off to a good start this week.
It's episode 39. It's my age. Jesus Christ.
I thought you were 49.
Look, that's not very nice of you, is it? You're not being very nice to me today, and I'm going to ignore you. Today we're doing Cruella.
Cruella. Live action rehashing.
The Disneyfied.
The Disneyfied version of the Cruella de Vil origin story.
I can't even speak today, frothing at mouth.
Hey, I'm just giving it pace and timing. You wouldn't understand.
Absolutely. It's out at the cinemas at the Mo, but you can also catch it on Disney Plus Premier Access. $35, Will.
Are you plugging Disney Plus?
Well, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Well, but
$35.
$35.
Cheaper to go to the movies.
Well, not if you've got a big family and have lots of friends around
That's
to
true.
see it. Then
Yep.
it's much cheaper, isn't
Yeah.
it? And
Or
also,
if you share your Disney Plus login,
you're not
with
meant to
literally
do that.
Everyone.
You're not meant to do that, and that's not very
We
good
don't
thing
do
to
that.
Did you know that streaming services are about to
Crack down.
Crack
on that.
down.
Yeah, fair enough.
on that?
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit, it's ruining their business model.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Now that
absolutely.
literally everyone in the world now has Disney Plus, they need to find some way to make money.
Totally. All right, let's get into it. What's the synopsis, Will?
So, after Cruella, her mother is murdered, Cruella becomes a street orphan, but dreams of working as a fashion designer, and when she catches the eye of the fashion royalty, the Baroness, she unearths dark secrets from her past. I wrote that.
Did you? I thought you just made it up on the spot, actually, because I couldn't see you reading
I didn't read
or
it.
anything like that.
maybe not.
Jesus Christ. Directed by Craig Gillespie, who did I, Tonya.
And Lars and the Real Girl. I love that film.
See, I wasn't a huge fan of I, Tonya, because I just,
Right.
I know you're the same. We don't like biopics.
Sports biopics,
particularly sports biopics.
Yep.
But Lars and the Real Girl, on the other hand.
Oh my God,
what
such a good film.
A good concept done so well.
If you haven't seen this film, go and see it. Okay, we spoil the films that we're reviewing on this podcast, but we won't spoil that one for
We're
you.
not going to spoil that one. We might do a vintage podcast on that one eventually.
Yeah. So you
Ryan
gotta-
Gosling,
okay,
fan.
If you're listening, watch it this week.
Fantastic. Go and see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to this movie.
Yeah, first
First impression, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.
Now, I gave this a 7, but I kind of regret this now.
Why? No, that's your
Well-
first impression
well,
score, Will.
I've had time to think about it now.
Well, but that's not what this is about. You
No.
have to tell everybody
Right.
what your first impression. That's what we do. For
Yeah.
those who have just tuned in, we have 3 scores. The first one is just basically how did you feel without thinking about it. It is a rash choice. It's a rash feeling, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's a C1 in our model, actually. And then we're going to dive deep. We're going to have a look at the story. We're going to pull it apart. We're going to analyze it and give a story score. And then at the end of the podcast, we will give our final rationalized C2 NMG, Not My Genre.
Yes, beautiful.
Score.
That's right. 3 scores. So, where should we start? Story? Straight into it?
Well,
Deep
why
dive into it?
don't we?
Actually, first we should just mention the writers on this film, because I think
We
we
always like to hold up the writers.
hold up our writers. Now, Dana Fox was probably the key writer on this film. She did the screenplay, and we know her because she's actually been a writer on films like How to Be Single, Isn't It Romantic, the
I didn't like
Rebel
that.
Wilson film.
I didn't like that movie.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
I thought it was a bit stupid.
It was a bit silly.
It was a bit silly.
how when the guy looked out his window, he couldn't. You know, there was that scene.
I actually can't remember
Okay,
much.
you
I
can't
just
remember.
remember thinking this is silly.
Okay, well,
Which was
Dana
just-
Fox has written a lot of stuff. Couples Retreat, What Happens in Vegas.
I did like What Happens in Vegas. Look, I'm not surprised. She look. I don't know this lady. I'm sure she's lovely and she's obviously very talented. But I felt Cruella was over the top, just like Isn't It Romantic? So that's all I have to say.
But that's the style. Anyway, Tony McNamara, who is actually Australian and wrote The Favourite.
The Favourite. Now, I loved
I like The
Awkwafina
Favourite too.
in The Favourite. What a good movie. Very slow.
Sorry, what? Awkwafina.
Oh, sorry.
In The Favourite.
Talking
What
about
are
the
you
wrong-
talking about?
Yeah.
Awkwafina?
Olivia Colman. I'm talking about.
You said Awkwafina.
No, shut up. I'm thinking about the wrong movie. I'm thinking about.
Oh my God.
No, there is one. What's the Awkwafina one?
What are you talking about?
It's
What,
called The Favourite.
You mean the one about her grandmother?
Yeah, what's that called?
That's not called The Favourite.
What's it called? It's something like that.
Oh my God, that's escaped me. But I know I watched that film.
How embarrassment.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
yeah,
that film.
Olivia Colman, which also had Emma Stone in it.
It did. You're right.
Who is in Cruella.
And you know what? Tony McNamara wrote Rage in Placid Lake. That was probably his first film, which is the one with Ben Lee in it, the musician, and...
Okay, you're getting a little... Look,
who else did it have in it? Do you know?
No, I don't even know this
Rose
movie.
Byrne. It was like her
Rose
first
Byrne.
role.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Way back.
Hey, look, just like last podcast, why don't you just pull up the end credits and just like read them all?
Okay, I have to apologize.
Why
for
don't
that.
you do
I mispronounced literally everyone's name in the cast last week. Don't listen to that
you read
podcast.
the entire crew.
I had to try. You have
look,
to give them a bit of...
Okay,
you know.
let's just do it. So there's also Aline Brosh McKenna and Kelly Marcel and Steve Zissis. And now I'm doing all the I'm doing it.
I put that in there just for you.
For God's sake. Can we move on?
Let's move on.
Can we move on?
Let's talk about some story.
Let's
now,
talk
we
about
wanted
story.
to talk about arcs in this story.
We do.
Because
Now,
it's a very interesting thing to talk about.
Before we dive into arcs, let's make a statement. I'm going to make a statement. I'm sure you'll agree.
Okay.
That Estella/Cruella, Emma Stone's character in this movie, is a willing flat arc character.
A willing
flat
arc character.
Flat arc character. I'm going to
So
say
you have to explain what you mean by
you
that.
heard it here 1st. Okay. So let's have a look. What is the difference between a positive arc, flat arc, and negative arc character? Well,
Right.
Do you
so
know
there
the
is that, like you've just said, there's 3 different types of arcs you can talk about when you talk about
Totally.
characters.
Totally.
Now, the first is a positive arc character. It's one we
Positive
see very
arc.
commonly. It is a character that changes. It's a character that goes on a journey, and in some positive way, they are able to change and grow and become a better
Well,
person.
they're not always positive. They go up and down.
They go up and down, but I mean by the end of the story.
the end of the
they've
story.
become positive. They've usually, the way we talk about it is they have gained an unrealized value. They have manifested
That's
an
right.
unrealized value. So
That's
there's
right.
something that they weren't valuing to begin with. Maybe, for example, just throwing this off the top of my head, they valued money when they really needed to value love and connection or something like
Love.
that. Okay. And by the end of the story, they're valuing love and connection in their family, and they don't need the
Okay.
money anymore, blah, blah, blah.
Fantastic. Thanks for frothing at the mouth.
Yeah.
So basically, in a positive arc story, we have a character who starts out of balance.
That's right.
And they go on a journey. They enter into some world or some situation which forces them to realize what they were missing, and they reach equilibrium and harmony at the end. That is essentially what a positive arc
Now,
character
a flat
is.
arc is a character that's already reached equilibrium, have
That's
already
right.
reached balance, and their job...
This is at the beginning of the story.
The beginning of the story, yeah.
They actually don't change. They don't grow and change.
Their job is to hold on to that balance, despite everything the world throws at them. So usually the world is out of balance in this case.
right.
The world around them is collapsing. There's some big problem, and they have to
Totally.
hold on to this value, show the world, and usually
right.
in most cases there is a positive arc character within the same story that needs to change, mentored
Exactly.
by this character that holds the balance.
Exactly. So basically, the difference between the two is that in a positive arc story, we have our positive character that needs to change, and the world that doesn't really need to change. So it's the world around them that kind of is already at balance. Is already kind of where the character needs to end up, and it's them. It's the world that is trying to force them to change.
Like
You know,
Titanic,
it's like-
Legally Blonde, Good Will Hunting, all these stories, all positive arcs.
I wouldn't say Titanic, but
Titanic is definitely a positive arc story.
yeah, I know, but the world also needs to change.
Oh,
There are some stories that mix the two.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And a flat arc is the complete switch of that. That turns it on its head. So the central character becomes the agent of change. They become the thing that is trying to force change on another character or a world that needs to change.
Good
A
example.
world that needs to reach equilibrium.
We were talking about this the other day, Notting Hill. Notting Hill's a good example where there's a character, Hugh Grant, who is the main character, who we see the story through, actually is a flat arc character, doesn't change. Because we were
That's
talking
right.
about this and we were like,
Yeah, this
Hugh
is-
Grant, he's the main character,
Yeah.
but he doesn't change at all.
This is years ago, by the
Yeah.
way, when we were just like, "What's going on with this movie? We can't work it out." Because usually, from the outset, you kind of expect that your protagonist has to change. In
Also,
some
it's
way.
a romance, so you expect it's two halves becoming a whole.
That's a completely
know.
different genre altogether.
Yeah.
But Notting Hill wasn't that. And I remember, years ago, you and I going, "What's going on here? Like, is it badly written? Like, is Hugh Grant? Does he change? We just don't notice. Like, what's going on there?
But it's a very successful film.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's obviously something in it that people were responding to.
totally.
And What is that?
Well, it turns out that he himself is actually the flat arc character. He's the main character. He's actually not the protagonist. So a protagonist is the one that changes, and that happens to be Julia Roberts' character.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about this movie when we should be talking about Cruella?
We should. Anyway, well, maybe because Cruella was boring. No, it wasn't that boring. It was just a lot to be desired. Anyway, the third arc that we haven't talked about.
The third arc.
A negative arc.
Negative arc.
Often seen in tragic heroes that go from a place of wholeness and Tao to losing a value, to becoming unbalanced.
That's right. Tragedies.
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 The Godfather, a really great example.
Just about any Shakespearean
I guess so, yeah.
story.
Macbeth is probably the most perfect version.
Oedipus. Yes.
Oedipus, yeah.
Oedipus. Most famous negative arc characters. They can either start out of balance and become even more out of balance, or they could start at balance and become out of balance. But the idea is that they devolve in a way. They have a devolution, which brings us to Cruella. Devolution.
Oh, wow. You're so clever.
I am so clever. Got my joke in there, my dad joke for the day. But here's the thing about Cruella, Will.
Yeah.
You know, and we've seen origin villain, stories so much now.
Yeah,
you know.
Disney's famous for them. Disney owns Marvel. Marvel basically only does origin stories.
Totally. No,
or sequels
and
of
look,
origin
we've
stories.
seen Maleficent. We've seen Joker, which was, what, $1 billion most popular
Yeah.
origin.
I think we've seen about 20 Jokers, haven't we?
No, I'm talking about the Joker.
no.
Joker with
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, if I said his name right.
Yeah, where he is the main character.
That's right. Absolutely, you see a devolution there. You see him, that is a negative arc right there. We see Anakin Skywalker in the prequels of Star Wars, and we get to see how that character became Darth Vader and how they fell into a hole, how they became evil.
Sorry, can I just interject here and say that when we're talking about negative arc characters and negative values, this is values that are seen by the story and the film as a bad thing, but not necessarily by all cultures throughout all time as a bad thing. It's just seen as the story. So really interesting that you've got to view it in context. So
great.
interesting talking point.
There you
Right.
go.
I think it is.
Fantastic.
Don't roll your eyes at
I'm
me.
not rolling my eyes. I just feel like I'm back in media school. Jesus Christ.
Okay, all right.
Doing
It's
an
getting a little
English
bit media
lecture.
studies. Let's move it on. Let's move it on.
Okay, so I think a big thing with Cruella is that a lot of people went into this expecting Joker. A lot of people went into expecting, the Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
They wanted to see a character devolve.
Yeah.
Now, as you beautifully put it earlier, we don't think that she is a negative arc character.
Does Emma Stone's Cruella, do anything bad or wrong in this story?
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't. It's
No.
basically, this is a positive arc character. A character basically liberating herself from the clutches
That's
of her
right.
past.
Totally.
That's what it is. And so, what is Disney doing? Disney has basically Disneyfied their own bloody character.
Yeah, but it's not even only that. I mean, I don't. She's not positive arc. Will
She's not. She doesn't change, does she?
She's
She's Cruella from the beginning. Well,
Totally. I think one of the best, versions of her that we see in this movie is when she's a little girl.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it when she's at the school and she's being a rebel, and
Yeah.
she's wearing what she wants and
Yeah.
she's, attacking all the boys and that sort of thing. I think that's great. When we see her at the end of the movie, even though she's changed her name, she's essentially still exactly the same
That's
character.
right. She hasn't gone from being this shy, timid character to being, a bad bitch.
That's right.
She's been Cruella. Maybe
Yeah.
Cruella's come a little bit more to the surface, but
Yeah.
on a value level, nothing's changed.
That's right. If anything, what has changed is the world around her. She's been able to shake off, the obstacle of the world that is oppressing her. That's basically what she's done. But she hasn't actually changed values. She hasn't changed positively in any way.
Yeah.
Neither has she devolved.
And-
we haven't seen her get bad.
That's right. She doesn't get bad, and there's not one positive arc character in this story, so no one else changes. Cruella doesn't change.
Yeah, I think that's
It's
a really interesting point. Now, when
Yeah.
I watch this, it's kind of it
feels like a montage of just scenes.
My brain was like kind of like doing Olympics in my mind. Like
Yeah.
it was conflicted because I was looking at this, and I'm sure you're the same. This beautiful,
Oh my God, it was sumptuous.
beautiful,
Yeah.
sumptuous movie. The production design in
incredible.
this, I mean, they're going to win an Oscar for the production design.
Can I just say, the costume designer Jenny Bevan, who
Yeah.
Juliet hired after
she'll-
seeing her work on Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh no way! Did she? Right,
She created 277 costumes for this film,
far
including
out.
47 for Cruella.
Yeah.
And this is actually some recent news.
Right.
a clothing line was started by Disney based on
What?
her designs, and she wasn't credited or reimbursed in any
yes.
way.
Oh, no. Were they dolls or something?
No, it was actually clothes.
Clothes.
That kids can wear.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, not fantastic, but right. Yeah, I did read that. Look, I have to tell you, the absolute best thing about this movie is the costumes.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not often that you see a movie that it's so loud with how good the costume design is that you actually tell people see it for the costumes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I remember when we did Mulan and we talked about the costume designer, and there was some fact like the costume designer spent 3 weeks in China researching costumes.
Oh, that's right.
And I was
Yes.
like, 3 weeks? Really?
Come on.
Just 3 weeks? Like, give me 6 months. Give me a year in China. Or give
Totally.
me a Chinese costume designer.
That would be better, actually.
But this sounds significant.
Hey, look, I actually like because I'm sure you're the same. I really appreciate good fashion. I mean, not what I wear.
Yeah.
I don't wear it. I don't wear it.
Fashion.
But I love looking at a really good Alexander McQueen, or a Vivienne Westwood or something like that.
Yeah, and wishing, if only, one day.
One day I could wear a Vivienne Westwood dress. That's right. What was I going to? I had a point there, but you rudely cut me off as usual.
Quick.
That's what I wanted to say. My favorite dress. What was your favorite dress?
I don't know. I haven't got a favorite.
Come on.
Well, I don't know. The one from the trailer, the red one?
The red one, the one from
With the fire.
the fire.
That was eye-catching, but
It was.
honestly,
Oh, that was a great moment. But look, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
The dress made out of the moth I can't even speak.
Oh,
to
that was a great moment. I did not
Cocoons.
pick that at all.
I didn't
That was good.
I didn't pick that at all. But before the moths hatched, that dress is spectacular. Like, it's so good. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
Did you know Miguel has seen this 3 times already?
Wow.
In 2 days.
Shit. Okay.
Because of the fashion.
Yeah.
You know, he loves
Amazing.
the fashion.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just what
well,
he's
he
into.
watched Devil Wears Prada like 400
Oh,
times.
look, we've
in a
all
row.
seen Devil Wears Prada so many times.
And going on from Devil Wears Prada,
Yeah.
Miranda Priestley, the Baroness.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Baroness, the evil antagonist and
Emma
villain,
Thompson.
played by Emma Thompson in this film, in Cruella,
Yeah.
has obvious,
Miranda Priestley vibes.
yeah, vibes. That's
Now,
right.
can I say, like, I absolutely loved Emma Thompson in this. I think that she was stand out. Like,
I love Emma Thompson in anything, to be honest.
Emma Thompson in anything, but particularly in this movie. This has to be the best thing she's ever done, I think.
What's it called? Angels in America? No, is that right? Yeah, Angels in America. Did you see that? Where she
yeah,
played
I
like
s-
6 different characters?
I did. Did she?
She was
No,
great in
6.
that.
She was good, but this
Anyway.
this is such a good role. And there's a lot about the Baroness that is the same as Miranda Priestley, but there's one significant difference that I really noticed when I watched this. I think the Baroness is obviously much more evil than Miranda
of
Priestley
course.
is. Excuse me. But the difference between the two is that Miranda Priestley has a redeeming quality about her. You know,
She's focused on the work. She's and on runway.
yeah, but not just absolutely, but not just. My dog is making noises in the background because he's hungry. We're going to finish this and feed you soon, Taki. Is that what was I saying? Oh, she's got a redeeming quality. So there is that scene in The Devil Wears Prada where Anne Hathaway brings the Bible to her house.
Oh, right. Yep.
And we get to see that Miranda Priestley is having a lot of trouble, how her work is affecting her life, and how she cares so much about her children.
So she's a sympathetic villain.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we got nothing. We got nothing about like that with Emma Thompson, and for me, it was missing it. I wanted to.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't find that she was a memorable character. She wasn't. There was obviously nuance to Emma Thompson's. Thompson's
I think she's
performance.
memorable, but
See, Miranda Priestley is far more memorable.
and I think the reason is because of what I said. If you don't give your villain some sort of redeeming quality, if you don't sort of explain them, if you don't justify their actions in any way,
Right,
then
yeah.
they become a caricature,
This is very true. Yeah.
and you kind of disconnect from them in a way.
That's right. A character doing evil things for evil things' sake.
Yeah.
Not for any real reason.
Totally.
And killing people too.
Totally. Right. She's
You gotta know why.
She murders people in this
Yeah.
movie.
Isn't the whole point of this story to explain Cruella de Vil,
Yeah.
the villain of 101 Dalmatians,
Yeah.
and yet they bring in a character who they just don't even explain. Like they make another caricature.
Well, it's
I wouldn't be surprised if in the original 101 Dalmatians 1961 version that we don't find anything about Cruella de Vil. She's probably just evil too. So this is
I haven't seen that in a while.
funny.
I did watch a clip last night because I just wanted to be reminded how Glenn Close played Cruella.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because as I was going before, like I felt that even Emma Stone and Emma Thompson both had played the character so caricaturely, if that's a word. They became such cartoon versions of them that they had the
Well, they were
loud
playing cartoons.
They had
This is their chance to make something real of it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like this is what I was saying. I was doing Olympics in my mind because the soundtrack is really cool as well. Like there was so much about this movie that they tried to make kind of real. They kind of tried to jokerize this, But on the other hand, the acting was so blown up. It was just so. It disconnected me so much from the reality of what's going on. I had a real hard time with that. Like it was even like that stupid voice that Emma Stone put on. Darling, oh my God, that sort of thing. And how she, that stupid Marvel look, the Marvel look.
What is the Marvel look?
It is the chin down, eyes up. The chin down. The evil look.
Oh, right. That's the Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, whatever. It's so overdone.
Yeah, right.
It's ridiculous. And to me, it's just, as soon as I see that in anything, I'm just like, I'm done. I'm out. You never see that with Miranda Priestley.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Miranda Priestley is a real...
This is what a good actress does. A good actress brings their own caricatures not caricatures, but like idiosyncrasies to a character.
Nuance, yeah.
Nuances and idiosyncrasies, but things that you've never seen before that make the character very different, but still exactly what you imagine.
Totally. Miranda Priestley is an evil bitch. Yeah. But you know what? I believe that she's real. I believe that there is someone out there just like her. I don't believe Emma Thompson. I don't believe there's any character like her in the whole world.
That's true.
And the same for Cruella. That's
so you get detached from that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my major criticism with Cruella.
Okay, let's stop talking about that now.
Yeah. Okay. Did I get a bit excited today? Did I get excited? Am I excited?
I want to talk more about Disney, the Disney machine.
Right. Okay.
So what I mean by that is that we are getting a lot of these live action remakes at the moment. What is with that? Why is Disney doing so many live action remakes? And what's in it for them? I mean,
I don't know.
They're rehashing all their old stories.
Disney. Jesus Christ.
Well, what I do know is that their live action remake of The Lion King made over $1 billion and is their highest grossing film so far.
And can I tell you something about that?
Yeah.
They are making a Lion King prequel.
What?
Yes.
Live action
prequel. Unbelievable. And that Aladdin 2 is coming out with the same cast. But not only that, there is a spin-off of Prince Anders, I believe his name was.
Right.
Remember the I don't know the actor's name, but one of the princes that comes in and tries to charm the princess before Prince Ali comes in.
It has like a 2-minute scene.
Yeah. Oh, he's hilarious in it though. He's getting his own Disney spin-off live action movie.
Jesus. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
Jesus. Unbelievable.
That is crazy. And when I was researching all the writers and the cast for Cruella, I saw that Cruella 2 is in pre-production.
Cruella 2 is already coming out. And I have to say, I know
Disney's going a bit crazy.
They're going a bit crazy.
They've got the Loki TV series at the moment.
Totally.
They had another one. What's it called? WandaVision.
Yeah, which hasn't been renewed, by the way. Apparently, I heard has not been renewed for.
It was quite bizarre. To be honest,
I would never even start to watch something like that. What is wrong with you?
You wouldn't get it anyway. Sorry.
Okay, I wouldn't get it. Is it a bit Pleasantville-y?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like that.
Oh, okay, right. I'll just watch Pleasantville.
Yeah. Pleasantville was an amazing film. Anyway, we're nattering on a little bit.
We're nattering. Yeah, Disney, what's going on? Can I tell you what I feel about this movie? I feel like this movie was not written as a Cruella movie. Honestly, you could take out any references to Cruella, the car, the hair, the Dalmatians, and it could stand alone as its own movie.
Can I just say, where were the Dalmatians in this film?
Well,
they barely came into it.
Oh, well, they killed her mother. Well, how ridiculous was that scene?
Could have been any dogs.
Can I just say, there were some scenes in this.
Aren't the Dalmatians supposed to be nice?
This is the one thing that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right? Do you remember that the Dalmatians killed her mother?
Oh,
Emma Stone's mother.
Yeah, of course.
The Dalmatians
of course.
pushed her mother off the cliff, which I kind of, as ridiculous and stupid as it was, I kind of got it. as an explanation as to why she wanted to kill the Dalmatians in 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
But by the end of the movie, she kind of liked the Dalmatians.
She kind of resolve everything to do with the death of her mother?
Yeah.
So where does that lead the next Cruella film? Or the Cruella story?
It's just a mess.
It's like,
This is what I'm saying.
So going back to the Disney thing,
this is what I'm saying. I feel like they got a really good story and Disneyfied. Like they literally squeezed a Disney film out of it. It didn't make sense, did it?
Yeah. And while there were all these callbacks to the other Dalmatians films, they also cut ties with all those Dalmatian films.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is they had all these, like, let's give a nod to all these stories and things, but at the same time, there's so many things that don't work with those other stories, like the point you just mentioned, and the idea that the first Dalmatians film came out in 1961. And this film was set in the 70s.
Okay, cool. Was it set in 1961 though?
Well,
I assume?
Yes, it was. It didn't know what was coming.
That's
the
a
next
very,
15
very
years.
stupid question, isn't it?
It was. So Cruella grows up in the 1970s, yet she was featured in the 1961
as a
original
fully
film,
grown woman.
As a fully grown woman.
So
Disney has no disregard for their chronological timeline of their stories.
I don't respect that. Stay in the canon.
Stay in the canon.
You've got to stay in the canon.
Look,
Like,
you think Star Wars just was like, fuck this, we're just going to reboot it?
well, what's the point?
I don't know. I don't get this. This is
like,
I told you the other day. This is what DC's doing with Batman. They're actually releasing 2 different Batmans in 2 different series. What's this? Not the Suicide Squad. What are they called?
I don't know. Oh, the Justice League.
The Justice League.
Yeah.
There's a Batman there, and there's also Robert Pattinson's Batman, and they apparently audiences meant to accept that they live in 2 different universes.
Oh, it's just getting ridiculous.
So,
yeah,
just sounds like they're trying to sell more toys.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's kind of like we've spoken about this before. Like to stay within concept, and to be clever within the restraints. To be clever within restraint is really something kind of cool
writing.
to see.
Yeah. If you give people think that structure, especially story structure, and that leads on to what you're talking about the structure of a certain canon of ideas, is limiting in some way. But in actual fact, it is the most creative. You can be the most creative you can be.
It's very freeing.
If you do have those constraints on you.
If
you do. If you don't have the constraints, you can literally do anything, which means there's no meaning to anything.
100%. Like, I don't know. I imagine that the Game of Thrones prequel is going to stay within the lore of Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
Anything Tolkien is going to stay within the realm of the myths of the Tolkien of Middle Earth. I hope that they do that, but they're not going to go and completely change timelines like they've done
just
with
for
Cruella.
Their convenience. Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. I feel like it was already other IP. Like it was already another story that they just squeezed Cruella into. Didn't make sense. It's a big mess. It's a big bloody mess, this movie, but you have to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You must see it. Go and see it because it's absolutely sumptuous. It's beautiful. It's just great to watch. But still, what's your story score? Do you have anything else to say on story?
No, I don't have anything to say. My story score for this is a 3.
Oh, God. Well,
so,
Jesus Christ.
I'm right down.
You've gone right down.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay. And do you have your final
NMG?
NMG score?
Okay, so I started at 5, went down to 4. I'll keep it at a 4.
Yeah, I'm going
I'll keep it a 4.
I'm giving this a 5. That's my final score. I'm coming down from a 7. Yep.
No, actually, no. I'm going to go up.
Really?
Yeah, only because we don't only consider the story. And I think that the production design...
it was amazing. I think they credit where credit's due.
Credit where credit's due.
These people worked really hard on this film, and it looked amazing.
Totally.
It's just a real pity that the writers couldn't get their shit together, or at least the Disney executives had to have their way.
What happened? Also, it's 2 hours and 15 bloody minutes long.
Oh my God,
seriously, we spoke about this with Army of the Dead. Ridiculous. Make it an hour and a half.
Yeah. Exactly.
I said to you earlier today, make our movies short, make our TV shows long.
Well, I don't really agree with that.
Well, I agree with that.
What you mean. I like short TV shows too.
No, I think a TV show is like reading a novel.
You said to me a few years ago, you were like, in the future, all films are going to be 60 minutes because people just don't have time anymore.
I don't remember saying that to you.
You said something like that.
Right.
It sounded very
I
pathetic.
think that film should be hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. Show should be an hour.
Look, to be honest, with Cruella, there's no reason why they couldn't have made it an hour and a half.
Come on,
it wasn't
ridiculous.
It wasn't like an epic or anything.
It literally, it took like half an hour, 40 minutes to even get started with the real story. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, still go and see it. that's us for not my genre this week. My dog needs to eat.
You better go feed your
My
dog.
dog is like about to have
Growling.
an aneurysm on the ground.
Yeah.
Needs food. Look, we'll catch you next week for episode 40.
40. We made it. 40.
Oh my God.
Your real age.
Stop being so rude to me. Look, I can hear the music. Have a wonderful time, evening, weekend, whenever you're listening to this, everyone. Ciao. See you later.
Catch you later. See you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.